Get this, adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Wondery. Greenlight.com/Wondery. Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
This is Ricey. You've been hearing my friend Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, for years on the radio and Garage Logic podcast. With the new year approaching, I strongly recommend you sit down with Josh for your no-cost, no-obligation, 48-minute consultation on your investments, including your IRA and 401k. You can benefit from Josh's years of experience navigating different market and economic conditions, and he'll always give you straight talk and not sugar-coated advice. Give Josh a call now at 952-925-5608 to book your no-cost, no-obligation 48-minute consultation. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him Ricey sent you. Don't forget to ask, why is it 48 minutes, Josh?
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Ricey is a paid endorser.
Hear the song.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes the old mayor makes us wonder how closely he's following the world of sports. But there's other times that old savvy that he always had as a sports observer comes through. And last Monday at this time, you asked, or maybe it was Friday, you asked if this is real or if this is going to be another one of those phony little build us up, kind of like the Minneapolis Miracle, and then they're going to puke. You know, you asked that. And I think I said, I think it's real. But, you know, I think we shouldn't be overconfident. But you had her pegged, baby. Another one of those Minnesota kicks in the groin. And it certainly didn't take long on Friday to figure out things were different.
Well, this is you then saying you think Denver's going to win.
Now I do think Denver's going to win, yes. And I think I've broken it down and have come up with a good reason. They're better.
I think Jokic, what's his name?
Jokic.
He arrives at the arena on a unicycle wearing a little red hat. He's a dancing bear.
He is unbelievable. He weighs... His official listing weight is 289.
But it's all muscle. He's not scrawny.
No, but he's got to be 3 bills.
Well, how tall is he?
He's almost 7, right? Isn't he 7? I think he's 7.
Well, how do you do? What can you do?
You can't do anything with him.
You can't do anything.
And the thing about it is, he has tremendous. Most of these big oafs are big oafs.
Right.
Because Rudy's a big oaf, right? Rudy's a big oaf. This guy's got magnificent instincts for the game. He knows
what a passer he is.
Oh, he's a fantastic passer. There's been centers who are great passers, but not monsters that are great passers. He sees the whole court. He's
and he can dribble to a certain extent.
Brings dribbles the ball up the court, and then
if you run into him, he'll kill you.
He can shoot a 3, and then if he does happen to accidentally knock you over and step on your head, and they call a foul on him. He goes to the ref and says,
What happened?
I
didn't do that.
I didn't do nothing. It's not my fault.
He's virtually impossible to stop.
He is. He's
Hey, enough. I don't care what you two have to say about the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Let me set this up.
Here we go.
Years ago, for many years,
Yes.
we always heard from our friend Cindy.
When it wasn't easy being a Wolves fan.
She was the most, and I did this often. I expressed my surprise to you that how does this woman know so much about basketball? Her name was
Alexandria.
Yes,
right?
Cindy, and she was a nurse. And remember, she told us she'd go around and make sure the games were on in every room she visited.
Right.
And we wondered whatever happened to Cindy. And it turns out I have a note where she's waiting to talk to us. I have a note that a guy named MJ Dempsey was our middleman. He heard us wondering about Cindy, and Cindy got a hold of MJ and said, I am uneducated with technology. I've tried to email GL. Don't think it went through. Would love to tell them a few stories. With these playoff games, I don't sleep. The last I probably talked to them, I had a brain tumor checked, then followed by 2 more. But here I am. She's okay. I am well and actively cheering on the Wolves. Would love to talk to Joe and Pat on Sports Talk. Would love to hear their take on this team. Maturing, deep, unselfish, and playing defense like the old Spurs.
What's the date on that note there?
This was just Friday.
Oh, okay.
Friday.
Well,
but she
Friday.
missed those 2 games.
Yeah,
So here's Cindy.
She's on the line.
Hi, Cindy.
Oh, my gosh, this is just like an old reunion.
This is wonderful, and I'm glad you're fine. You overcame the problems in the brain, huh?
Oh, yeah, well, I think I've had 6 bouts of cancer, but I'm here.
Wonderful, and you've got to be thrilled. You're finally living out your fondest wishes.
That's right. They got a little bit doused here the last couple games, but
A little bit.
But I've got to tell you a story. I do.
Yep.
Okay, my husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't really need anything unless I could sit courtside
Right.
at a Wolves game.
Right.
So he went through a scalper, and the grandson helped him, and he got us 2 tickets, 4 rows from the floor for the Bucks game, which they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sitting there, I'm rooting with this guy next to me. I don't know who he was. And he said, do you like to go to games? And I said, well, yeah, but, it's kind of hard. I mean, distance and expense, and I haven't always been the healthiest lately, so he held up his phone. He said, pick a game. Who would you like to see play? Oh, I said, the Kings with Sabonis. That would be a fun game, Like to see Sabonis play.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, give me your husband's email. And he emailed us 2 tickets for the next week to the Kings game.
Wonderful.
Wow. Who was this gentleman?
I don't know.
You're
I don't
kidding
know
me.
him. No, never met him.
But he sits down there all the time and figured he'd take care of Cindy, huh?
Well, he said, I have season tickets, and I don't get to that many games.
Oh.
So he said, I'll be glad to give you a couple. I said, what do you do for a living? And he said that he has, I don't know, Oriental restaurants or some kind of restaurants in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
That rules
So
out
that was
A-Rod.
Yeah.
No, but A-Rod was there sitting by Stephen A. right across from us. And this guy was telling me, like, all these people over here that have these pink name tags or signs, they are guests of the team. And it was fun, though, to be that close.
Had you been to a game before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But many years ago.
Right.
Up in the
We
boonies.
went to games. We went to games where you could just go, get a ticket. We went when Randy Foy was a rookie. We went to one of Cat's rookie games. We saw Memphis once. Anyway, we'd probably been to a half dozen games. But between the technology and, since 2015, through 20. Well, actually, last year I had another little cancer problem. And then I had a stroke. But
Railroad Dick.
we just haven't been to games.
Yeah.
Outside of that, how's it going?
Outside of that, everything's all right, I guess.
Poor
Cindy,
that's fantastic. Though.
Cindy, what do you think now? They got pretty well hammered yesterday. Well, not as bad yesterday, but Friday they were taken care of. Can they beat Jokic?
You know, I'm kind of sick of hearing about the Joker because I honestly feel he gets away with a lot of offensive laying outs.
I mean, couldn't agree with you more.
He uses those big shoulders. And I'll tell you, the one thing really ticked me off was when Murray threw the pack, threw the towel, and that coach came right out on the floor using F words in the ref's face.
Yep.
No ticks.
Right.
Nobody is ejected.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that myself.
No, I think that, and honestly, Murray should have had a suspended game for that kind of behavior.
Right.
I think everyone agreed with you on that one. If it obviously had been in the regular season, they would have probably sat him down for about 3 games, but he didn't. They didn't have the guts to do that for a playoff game. It's gotten a little crazy, the complaining to the officials during the game too. Don't you believe? I mean, everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. This Caldwell Pope for Denver, he should be thrown out of the arena. Every time they commit a foul, he acts like it's it's somebody friend of his had been kidnapped or something. It's awful.
Beal was awful too in that Sun series. He should have been tossed too. But this team this year though, you do have to look at it and look at how deep they are and the defense they were playing. Years ago, Pop's old Spurs teams, they were such defensive teams. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's happened. I think, for one thing, Denver's made some adjustments. And I don't really criticize our coaching, but I'm thinking coaching could have made some better adjustments the last couple games. Now, Naz Reid had a hot hand last night, and he only played 19 minutes. What's up with that? Alexandria, what's his name? NAW.
Nah was a nah show last night.
Yeah, he had 2 points.
It was bad. Hey, I got to ask you a question. Remind us, how did you become a Timberwolves psycho fan? How did that remind us? You've told us that story way back when, but how did that happen?
It just that I like basketball. Yeah. I don't give a hoot about hockey. I grew up a sports nut with my dad. Mm-hmm. He was a Cubs fan, and he took me to Iowa Hawkeye games.
Okay.
Are you from Iowa originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, I was Iowa Pork Queen.
That's right. You were the Iowa Pork Queen.
That's right.
Yeah. I showed hogs. Yeah, I raised hogs, showed hogs. I was an Iowa Pork Queen. But, and I was a cheerleader, because you guys had asked me once, did you ever play ball? No, I'm like 4'10", Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
But Iowa was probably playing six player basketball then when you were in high school, right? You were.
Well, the girls, played divided court.
Yeah, right. 6 on 6, 3 on 3 on each end.
3 on 3. Yeah.
I saw a stat that in the 1950s there were more girls playing high school basketball in Iowa than the rest of the country combined.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Well, as a cheerleader, we used to go to all the state tournaments. They'd take a bus up and we would go.
What was your hometown?
What was your hometown in Iowa?
Crawfordsville, Iowa.
Crawfordsville.
South of Iowa City, about 30 miles south.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Cindy, and then for a career, you were a nurse, correct?
Actually, I worked in the laboratory.
Oh, okay.
And but I went all over the hospital drawing blood.
Right, and you'd make sure the Timberwolves game was on every TV.
Exactly. Every waiting room.
Yep.
Every waiting room. And especially, in ICU when the patients were not very responsive, I would just go flip the game on while I was doing my deed with them. So
Sure,
I didn't miss. I know. And I don't know. I know. I do say, oh, Lord, why am I such a nut? But I liked basketball. I went to games in maybe high school or when Don Nelson played for the men's Hawkeyes.
Yes.
Remember Don
That's
Nelson?
A long
He was a
time
coach.
ago. Yeah, Nelly.
Yeah.
Cindy, tell us what has to happen for the Timberwolves to win in Denver tomorrow night. What do you want to see?
They've got to put more bigs on Jokic like they first did because they ran him ragged.
Yep.
The first 2 games, they really ran him. See, now, you can't predict. Murray had a horrible shooting game the first 2 games. And the last 2 games, he's shooting lights out. Our shooting was not last night's game, but the game before. They came out with no energy. They came out just lazy, really. And their shooting was horrible. But they were getting better last night. But at the end of the first half,
Yes.
when Denver, what was it, 15 seconds, they pumped in 8 points.
Yep.
And Murray was on fire last night.
Yep.
But you know what? Maybe one of our guys can catch fire like that now. And had 44 points last night.
Mm-hmm.
Reed had only, 11? But he only played 19 minutes. He was hitting some threes.
Mm-hmm.
But Alexander Walker, he couldn't do anything last night.
No. Couldn't play defense or offense last night.
Pardon me?
He didn't play defense or offense last night.
No. I don't know what happened to that swarming defense that we played in Denver. But
Yeah, that's been absent. That swarm, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, they were. They were just, and they were covering Murray, and like you'd put a couple bigs. There's a lot of criticism about Gobert. Gobert has been much better this year. When we first got him, it wasn't a good chemistry. And they didn't play well together. They didn't.
I got to
But
ask you. Oh, go ahead. Excuse me.
This year, it's been much better. And I still like Conley. There's criticism about his age. But he is that voice of reason, that veteran.
Yeah, he's the adult in the room.
Yeah, he's played, 17 years, never had a tech.
Yeah.
Never had a technical foul.
And the way everybody else is complaining without technicals, it will be impossible for him to ever get one because if he does talk to a ref, it's very politely. I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
As an Iowa girl, are you proud of Caitlin Clark?
Yes, I was just going to get to that. She is something else. I think she might be Steph. I don't know if she's Steph Curry's cousin or what.
Yeah.
No, she's phenomenal. She started out, her dad took her when she was in grade school to actually play with boys' teams because there wasn't girls' teams.
Mm-hmm.
But she's another one that I think she's very good, and yet she's humble. She always credits, her team. And she broke every record. And when you look at her assist record, she's not selfish. She doesn't have sticky fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wolves can do this. I do believe they can do this. But like I say, and you can't just blame the refs. That's a cop-out. However, darned well, the Wolves have never, ever had a fair shake, I don't think. I don't. On fouls. Compared to, you look at the big names. You could look at LeBron James and his crap steps that aren't traveling.
Yeah.
It depends on, a lot of it depends on who you are. And I think sports betting has made some waves here with some of these teams and the wins and losses.
What did you think of the continuation call last night when our they were, who was it, was coming down the lane for them? He collided with a guy, and he took 2 more steps after that and laid the ball in, and they called that continuation. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. And then Towns can do the same thing, and it's a non-shooting foul, because Towns did that a couple times.
Yep.
And they didn't call that continuation.
Well,
so
Cindy, I continue to be amazed by your knowledge.
Yes.
Sure is good to hear your voice again.
Oh, it is so good. I missed every Saturday morning. I was just like a cat waiting to pounce on a mouse. It was great.
Did we ever hang up on you or not give you, if you were ever on the line, did we not put you on? Did we ever not treat you kindly?
No, but one time in my early days of calling, you said, well, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm a grandmother. And so you guys called me Timberwolves Granny.
Okay.
So then a few weeks later, another time I called in and Rook answered or whatever. I said, well, it's Timberwolves Granny. And then you came on, you said, who is this? We don't do these nicknames. And I said, you're the ones who gave it to me. And then the next week, you guys had complaints from listeners that you were rude to me.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
My goodness.
No.
I remember that.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, we apologize
Yeah, we
all these
didn't-
years
yeah.
later, and my God, you're still hanging in there after all those health battles. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you chumps.
When I had this stroke in February, the doctor said to me, geez, I was sure you had another brain tumor, but you had a stroke. I said, okay.
Okay.
You know,
well, I'm gonna. If the Wolves need any inspiration, they should win one for Cindy on Tuesday night. Let's get over this nonsense.
Cindy, do you listen? Can you figure out the podcast?
I went to the to the store, the phone store, and I told them I wanted to figure it out. So then I did listen to one.
Okay.
But then I didn't know how often you're on, or, I didn't know when to tune it on or what.
Every
So
Monday. Every Monday you get Monday Night Sports Talk.
Okay, what time?
When's it posted, Chris?
Usually I have it posted by 3 o'clock.
By 3 or 4 o'clock every Monday, you can hear that day's Monday Night Sports Talk.
Is the hobby as helpless as you with technology?
Yeah.
Don't you have a 20-year-old neighbor who could come over and help you out?
Well, I've got granddaughters and stuff, but they're in Fargo and Bemidji and everywhere else. But I go to my Verizon store when I, need help. And, I maybe shouldn't say this, but I hope in the near future maybe they'll do a little family planning education for the Wolves so they don't have to miss games to have babies. But
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
All right.
I guess that's personal on my part. I agree that they were there, and I commend Rudy, for being there.
Yeah.
And we won that game.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right.
Well, have fun tomorrow night.
Oh, don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'm my whole between church, family, and sports.
Yep.
Especially the Wolves. That's how my life revolves.
How many
Wonderful.
grandkids you got?
11.
Holy cow.
I believe 11 or 12.
Okay.
And 3 greats.
Three greats.
Three
Oh, my
greats.
God.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, lovely to hear you, dear, and keep going.
Oh, you guys, it was absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
You guys have a great day, and go Wolves.
Okay,
right.
thank you,
Thank
Cindy.
you,
There
Cindy.
she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was a great
She's
idea to
here.
get Cindy on.
She's here, and she's okay.
She's got to be the hell she's gone through, and if she was granny back 20 years ago, she's got to be 80.
Well, yeah, she's got a great grandkid now.
Two
So, yeah.
2 great grandkids, she said.
Well, but she sounds the same.
She does. She does.
For going through what she's gone through, she sounds the same.
And I think her analysis has gotten better.
A little sharper.
A little deeper. She's studying. Now that she doesn't work, I think she just studies the Wolves.
Right.
You know?
She's watching the All 10.
Yeah, right.
The game film.
She is.
Right.
I'm not the world's leading expert on technology, right? But I'm not terrible.
No.
I really feel sorry for the 80-year-olds who.
It's not that hard.
But
if Joe can figure it out,
I can do it.
Anybody can figure it out.
But there's nobody, like on a daily basis that can help you out, So you got to
just go to the Google.
Give me your
Cindy.
phone.
I'll say I'm talking to Cindy. She can't hear us.
Yeah.
Give me your phone.
She listened to. She went to the Verizon store and they let her listen to one podcast. That was it.
Right.
So.
It is simple, and there isn't going to be any more radio, Cindy.
No.
So you got to get used to it.
Yeah, you certainly do.
I'd love to be following the Twins, but I have no TV access.
Yeah, well.
Either do you.
No, not officially.
No.
And, it's amazing. Joe, this is the stat. After 20 games, their projection was
right
56 wins, 106 losses.
Right.
After 40 games,
right,
their projection is 97 wins, 65 losses.
Wow.
97 wins should win the division.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Like 15 games. But it's amazing. I mean, 17 and 3. They haven't done that
What
often
has happened?
in their history.
They've started to hit the
They're
ball.
hitting.
Timely hits. But even when they don't have timely hits, they can still squeeze a game out. And Kepler, something happened to him.
Kepler and Jeffers are the biggest reason.
And Carlos Santana, who I think somebody said I once referred to him on the air as a corpse, which is kind of mean. I wish I hadn't.
I think
done
that is a bit too far.
Yeah, I was, but
He's 39.
Yeah, but I get a little work up when you're hitting zero, So
that was a big home run yesterday.
Yeah, wow, it's pretty incredible to say the least. And
Well, they're at the point where they could squander that massive lead Saturday.
yes,
And you're
bounce
saying,
right back.
that'll happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they are running guys out from the bullpen who are just suspects. Yesterday, Funderbeck got some outs for him, but they got about 4 guys. But it's it started off 10 games against bad teams, but since then they're 7-3. They won 6 straight series. So it's now the Yankees are here.
Yep.
And the Yankees, Judge is hitting again, and Soto is hitting in front of him, and Stanton is not as helpless as he was last year. So they gotta, it'll be a tough little series here. We'll be very interested if people actually show up. The weather's supposed to be okay.
It's uncanny, Pat, but Kenny informed us that the tunnel will be closed Wednesday and Thursday night
yes,
because the Yankees came to town. It's the Yankees.
They always, and it's to wash it.
Yes.
That's why it's closed.
We got to wash the tunnel.
Wash the tunnel.
When the Yankees are in town.
Yes. Yes.
That just delays everything.
Right.
It's so stupid.
I don't understand.
It's like they are anti-twin. And by the way, are they still home? Yes. May 16th or 15th.
Well,
which
that's
is 2
Wednesday.
days from now. 7th Street is closed.
Oh, boy.
7th. To lead you over to Ramp A is closed.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
Oh.
So we got some soccer fans or something running the traffic outfit.
The other problem that I encountered, because I stuck around for the whole game Thursday that we took the Garage Logic listeners.
Yes.
When you leave the ramp to get on to 394,
yes,
that entire corridor from around where would be the outside of the center field wall, you don't move forward. No. And that had nothing to do with just the Twins traffic. That was Twins rush hour and everything. But they've got to redo that intersection.
Well, what they have to do also is start charging people for their parking when they show up.
Instead of
so
at the
you
end.
can drive out.
Yeah.
because everybody's, and you get people from Royalton or Swanville or someplace, and they pull up to this thing, and it's like they're looking at a spaceman. They have no idea what they're doing.
Or a guy paying in cash.
Yeah, trying to put. Yeah,
Which they won't accept.
No, they won't accept. And,
Take my money.
and it's, you get behind one of the rubes, and, you can, I mean, they're lined up. I go up and park on 7 now and hope that I can get over to the other side and come down on 9th or 10th Street. But now they've done everything they can to conspire to make people have a miserable experience. I had a guy at my house today. He was the wife found him to wash windows, I guess. And once a year,
yes.
once
I mean,
a
you
year,
should know what he's
once
doing.
A year, that's what he's doing there.
Yeah.
He told me his brother's got tickets, but he doesn't want to go downtown Minneapolis at night.
Mm-hmm.
Come on down. It's okay. Mm-hmm. You park in a ramp, you walk to the ballpark, and then you and however many other thousands of people leave.
Well, plus it's light out at 9 now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And, there are areas of downtown that after dark you can walk and there's no people around, which you don't like. But where the baseball park is, the North Loop has got restaurants that are jammed 4 days a week, So you can come on down. Come on.
Well, plus we were talking about this at the game. The Twins themselves, I know, up the security in those ramps by the ballpark. And they did a good job because you can tell a difference when it's the day of a game or if it's just a regular business day. And I know the Twins made an effort to do that. But you can sense it because there's people on almost every floor of the ramp.
It's not security that's causing people to avoid baseball games. It's A, proudly announcing that you were going to cut payroll after the, and B, TV, which is a much bigger disaster than anything else.
And it doesn't seem to be getting much attention. Is anything happening right now behind the scenes? Is a pole ad on the telephone raising hell with somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
This is ridiculous.
You can. I know that whenever the paper has updates or somebody writes about it, they get big. There's a lot of comments of nothing else.
One of 13 markets in the country that has all 4 major franchises, and 3 of them aren't on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's bad.
And this is also occurring with another dozen ball clubs around the so Major League Baseball should be doing something.
Well, and
they should have been doing something 5 years ago when everybody was quitting cable.
Right,
so.
and how is the relationship between the Twins and Bally? Because I guess
it can't be good.
Well, that's what I'm wondering because it is just a 1-year deal that they basically signed out of desperation.
Yeah, but and they made the Twins. The Twins refused to give them the streaming rights for the long term for Amazon or something because they're trying to make a deal with Amazon Bally. So now but the Twins, to get the Bally money, had to agree not to just stream it.
Who is hearing Provis?
Well, I am.
If you're DirecTV,
Fubo.
if you're Fubo, or if you're living in another state and have the MLB package, but I don't know, how far do you have to get out of the Twin Cities to actually have the Twins if you got the MLB package?
I know a young man.
You can't get it.
Who has the MLB package, who lives here but used a different address as his registration, so he does get it.
Okay.
Even though
because Florida or someplace he puts it in. And they, maybe Bally doesn't have enough money to track you down anymore.
Must not be, I'm not sure.
But hey, you could knock me over with a feather that they're what are they, half game out of first, right?
Yeah.
And they were 8 out of first, after 20 games, and my joke was they were on pace to finish 64 games out of first place.
Mm-hmm.
So they picked it up a little, to say the least.
Well, and Cleveland came back a little bit too.
Yeah, Cleveland,
Yeah.
as they should have. You know, and their best player is hurt, Stephen Kwan's hurt.
Can I go back to Cindy for a minute?
Yes.
If her analysis is as good as anyone's,
Yes.
well, how do you run that dancing bear rag?
Well, in the first game, they jumped him. They had him double teamed at all times.
Well, they're going to have to do it
McDaniel
again,
gave him a
aren't
lot of
they?
help. Yeah, and then if they make shots like they did Sunday, you're just screwed.
You're out of luck.
You
Yeah.
know, because Aaron Gordon was fantastic in everything he did. Although, there's supposed to be 3 seconds in the lane, and then they kind of expand that to 5, maybe 6. When he's waiting for the big lug to get rid of the ball and throw him that little pass, he's down there standing on the basket for about 8 seconds, and they never call it.
You did have a great line when you said and if you've said it already when I was calling Cindy, I apologize, but you said he's 300 pounds of basketball instinct.
Oh, he's got great instincts.
He does.
sees
He
the
can
court
pass like
fantastic.
a wizard.
There's a play from that Lakers series where he's just running down the court, and there's a ball bouncing near him, and he goes like that and just slaps it to a guy going in.
And it was a
layup.
perfect pass.
Yeah, just a perfect pass. His hands are like this. You wonder, though, Judd told me that his brothers, apparently, 2 brothers were in a suite last night.
Oh, God.
They're bigger than him. They both look like hitmen.
Wow.
I mean,
How do you learn to play basketball in Serbia?
I don't know.
They're Serbian hitmen.
The Jokic boys come to town, people run for their lives, probably. But I'm wondering if the big Serbian lug is, because basketball is very popular in the old Yugoslavia, all those countries. Is the big Slavic lug going to take over the game?
You could.
Is there 3 more of these guys?
Because everyone looks at this and they want one.
Yes, they do. Yes. Yeah, they do. Man alive. It's I don't know what they're going to do. He should not. Okay, he's great. And the officials didn't lose those 2 games for him. But he shouldn't get away with what he gets away with.
He does get away with too
He
much.
does get away with too much. And he does. I mean, when he barrels into somebody and they call a blocking foul because Cat's like sliding half a foot over, and he runs right over him. Basket's good. Scott Foster, get a free throw.
Yep.
You got no chance. So, anyway, it was fun while it lasted.
All right. Very good.
I need to hear from Patrick about our friends at the Valley Group.
really?
Very good.
I
Dealers.
didn't know. Is that when we do that? I thought we did that Fridays. Okay. Jim Paul and Brett Paul.
That's
Valley
right.
Group of GM dealers. They got vehicles, big vehicles, trucks, Yukons, fully stacked now. They all look like Jokic. These guys. We got trucks the size of Jokic's out there now. Those big, heavy-duty trucks. They're back. The interest rates are low. 0.9, 1.9. Also, a lot good-sized factory rebates now. It's back to the old days of car buying before the pandemic, when there's plenty of stock and there's plenty of deals. And these are the guys to go to. Buick's, all the GMC products. Jim Paul, Brett Paul, the Valley Group of GM Dealers.com. You can go to valleygroupofgmdealers.com. Check out the stock.
We got to say something about golf.
Oh,
Okay.
Roy McIlroy's hotter than hell going into
Yes.
the PGA.
How do you finish 18 under on that golf course and not be able to putt?
But he putted yesterday.
He did putt pretty good.
But here's what I wanted to bring up. He he's been disinvited from being on the board of the PGA. He's off the board now.
Because of?
The way I read it is he is willing to be very forgiving of Liv.
Okay. To get him
And
back
Tiger
in.
is saying, if I'm reading between the lines, Tiger's saying, look, I love you, Patrick, but Rory, but they're not getting back in without consequences. And I think McIlroy was saying, let's just make peace. Let's everything
need
come
him
back together.
Say,
Yeah.
well, you don't want to get. What if he takes the $500 million?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got
But I
left
don't think
then?
he will.
I don't think he will, but
But
what
if he did,
does?
you're really done.
You are done. I mean, this was Hollis is one of Hollis's tournaments down there, and it was one of their designated, so they had a great field,
So no cut.
no cut, and now they got the PGA, and then you'll be back to looking at fields like you had at the. Now I think the Memorial is a designated event too.
Yep.
As long as Jack's alive, they won't have the guts to not make that a designated. But when they Scheffler's, is he still home with Mama? What's going on?
Well, he didn't play this weekend. I think he's
he'll
home.
be at the
They had the
PGA.
kid.
They have had the baby.
They had the
Okay.
kid.
Well, it's Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
You can't be going
and that
playing.
kid's like a week old.
You can't be playing golf when it's Mother's
She
Day.
ain't my mother.
That's a real quandary, isn't it?
Not really.
It's the Mother's Day. I mean, especially my situation because it's she's not the mother of my kids.
Right.
She's the mother of my stepson, who's like one of my kids. But
Yeah.
but you know,
You get him
if
a
you
card.
try to
Just get a card.
Watching you guys walk this tightrope is great.
if you try to act like say if she's in a bad mood, she'd say, "What do you care?"
That's
You know,
right.
but
You
if
can't win.
No, you can't. You can't. So
Boy, I'll say.
basically, I just say Happy Mother's Day and then watch the ball game.
Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers.
What do we want for dinner?
Yeah. It
All
was,
right, that's enough.
Anyway,
We'll see ya.
all right. This is Ricey for the Canopy Group. For more than 160 years, Minnesotans have been enjoying all this great state has to offer. From Niagara Cave to the Lake of the Woods, outdoor adventures abound. Did you know Minnesota spans more than 86,000 square miles? It's great we can experience a state so rich in landmarks, landscapes, art, and adventure. With so many adventure options, it got us thinking, why are so many Minnesotans limiting their home and auto insurance options? Today, 80% of Minnesotans have their insurance with just one agent who has only one company. There are no options. At the Canopy Group, we offer you more than 16 companies for your home and auto insurance and 50 professionals. So as your needs change, we have options that continue to provide you with the best coverage for the best price. So many options. You wouldn't want to fish in only one of Minnesotans' 10,000 lakes, and we don't want you to be stuck with only one insurance company. Visit thecanopygroup.com or call 800-967-3389 and get insurance options today.